Hi, this is Tom Simmons here to report on traffic safety by Leonard Evans. My chapter was chapter 16, which is Vision for a Safer Tomorrow. As an introduction to despite the high number of injuries and deaths, traffic safety is not viewed as a component of public health. I find that really interesting because there are so many people on the roads and so many accidents, or so many crashes, I should say, as Evans puts it. It's hard to believe that it's not considered a public health issue. Enormous casualties are largely accepted as normal, inevitable, and not particularly newsworthy. There's a public perception that crashes are due mainly to fate and to bad luck, encouraging the notion that there's not a whole lot that you can do about it. It's just kind of gonna happen. Still, all too widely use the word accident, which encourages the beliefs that it is an accident and you just can't do much about it. A measure that reduces the risk in traffic by 1% prevents the deaths of more than 10,000 people. Let me read that again. A measure that reduces risk in traffic by 1% prevents deaths of more than 10,000 people in the world per year. It prevents the death of more than one person in the U.S. per day. In the U.S., the absolute number of people killed in traffic has increased from 1992 at 39,250 to 42,815 in 2002. The key to progress is a different relationship between those that are at risk and the institutions that are in place to protect them. Unlike other aspects of public health, those that are at risk in traffic are often hostile to the institutions that are aimed to protect them. In other words, they don't like police officers. You're driving down the road and maybe doing, 9, 10 mile over speed limit, and you see a police officer, and all of a sudden it's not, what am I doing wrong? It's, why is he going to stop me? Actually, we have several officers that bring their kids to our school, and it's interesting because they say 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine. So just as a side note, but it is a true statement that it is a very interesting point that those people are in place to protect us. The speed limits have been set where they've been set because engineers have done their job to anticipate what would be the safest speeds in those particular conditions on those particular highways or streets. And so when these police officers come around and we're breaking the law, and it's interesting to me that as I've read through some of the other chapters of this book, it's actually, Evans considers us criminals if we are speeding or running a stop sign. And I thought, well, that's kind of harsh, isn't it? I'm a criminal. But what is a criminal? Someone who breaks the law. So the law is set, you stop at a stop sign, and the law is set, you drive 55 or 65 or 70 on an interstate, and when we break those laws, I guess we are criminals. There are two important factors: the individual driver behavior and the behavior of other road users, not necessarily drivers, but those on the road. If a driver is killed in a single vehicle crash, that death involves only the driving of the deceased driver. The crashes killing all other road users involve actions of a driver other than the person that is killed. So if a driver is killed in a two-vehicle crash, then the death involves the actions of the deceased driver and the actions of the other involved driver who may or may not also die. The deaths of all the passengers and pedestrians involved in actions are involved due to the actions of some driver. I'm showing you a table right here, and in this table, you're going to see that in the U.S. in 2002, only 31% of fatalities involved the driving of only the person killed. The vast majority, 69% of all fatalities, were in crashes in which a driver other than the person killed was involved. So over 29,000 Americans were killed at the hands of another driver. Staggering numbers. Staggering numbers. over 1,200 children under the age of 14 died as passengers or as pedestrians in such a situation. An average of one child a day is killed while walking or riding their bicycle. That's crazy. Now, Evans decided that he would kind of do a comparison between the state of the automotive industry in terms of public health and how public health is taken into consideration with the aviation industry. So here we see the safety of the commercial aviation industry. 0 deaths have occurred in 2002 in U.S. scheduled airlines. Meanwhile, in that same time frame, 42,815 deaths occurred on U.S. roadways. Roads provide about 9 times as many passenger miles as airlines, just to kind of give you a little point of reference. But airline safety focuses on crash prevention, not the safety of someone while in a crash. So if we talk about avoiding crashes, what we're really talking about is the sharp contrast to the idea of automotive safety. Because vehicle design changes have reduced the risk of death by about 20%. Why? Because the design is to help keep individuals within the vehicle safer. The industry is not, according to Evans, trying to find a way to reduce the crashes. They're trying to find a way to reduce the injuries as a result of the crashes. Occupant protection from wearing safety belts in combo with airbags have reduced the fatality risk by 47% since the 1950s. So the automotive industry is doing a good job at protecting those inside of a vehicle during a crash. But Evans, and I kind of have to agree with him, believes that more needs to be done to actually prevent the crashes from occurring to begin with. It is counterproductive to keep devoting excessive attention to measures that have potential to reduce the risk of death in a crash by no more than an additional few percent. This would leave over 40,000 deaths per year in the U.S. In sharp contrast, crash reduction offers large benefits as long as crashes remain a problem. Here's something I want you to think about. What could we do as instructors and active members of this industry to change the paradigm from limiting injury due to crashes to reducing the number of crashes? Thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.